everybody. Welcome to the GITA Ladies workshop. I'm going to be doing these writing workshops now over the next few weeks or however long we are stuck at home with the coronavirus. So today I recruited my son Hadley here. He's a 5th grader, age 10. He is going to help me demonstrate a writing lesson. And we're actually going to use a real life writing assignment that he has from his teacher, Mrs. MG. We hope this is okay. And kind of walk through the steps. And so the way that I'm recording it, I may have to do multiple segments. We'll see. This is my first time trying this out, and if this isn't the best platform, then I'll switch to a different one soon. But Hadley has a writing task. So actually, before we even do this, Hadley, the very first thing you do before you ever read the passage is going to be you have to read the question. Can you think of why you would have to read the question before you read the passage?
To understand it better.
To understand what?
The prompt.
The prompt. You don't know what you're looking for otherwise, right? So you're saving yourself a lot of time if you read the prompt first, because then you know what you're looking for when you read the passage and you don't have to reread and reread and reread. So the first thing we're going to do, but if we just read the prompt, a lot of times we don't see the whole prompt. We don't acknowledge these teeny tiny different parts that oftentimes it'll ask us to do. So we have something that Hadley's had me do before. What is it, Hadley? Before we ever start, we have to do what to the prompt?
Break it down.
And we use what to do that?
GITA.
GITA. Okay, guys. So, GITA. I don't know. I think that comes out backwards to you maybe, but GITA. So yes, we call my workshop the GITA Writing Toolkit. And the reason it's called the GITA Writing Toolkit is because you do GITA before you do anything else when you receive a writing prompt. So GITA is actually just the very first step, but it's fun to say and it stuck, and kids started calling me the GITA Lady, and therefore it is what it is. So with the GITA, the G stands for genre. So the first thing you do is you read the prompt and you ask yourself, is this asking me to write something informative, persuasive, or narrative? Then the I stands for important information in the prompt, okay? So I is what is in the prompt that I want to make sure I don't forget to do. What is the prompt asking me to do, and how is it asking me to do it? So, for example, it might say to you, I want you to write a letter convincing the editor of the paper that they should be providing school lunch to everyone during the coronavirus time. Well, you just found out that you're writing a letter to
The editor.
And that were you supposed to be informing or convincing, persuading? Convincing, which would be persuasive. So these are the kind of things you got to pay attention to. So that would be the I. The T, if you are writing an informative or a persuasive paper, the T is when you start to write your sentence stem for your topic sentence. You can't actually complete the topic sentence, of course, because you haven't read it yet. But you can start the stem so you know what you're looking for. Then your audience is getting to see who are you writing to. So some prompts give you an audience, like the one we just talked about. Other prompts don't at all. And you'll just write formal or teacher or something like that for the audience. So with no further ado, Hadley, could you read out loud you're going to read this background information, and then you're going to read this writing task, okay?
Both?
Yeah, so go ahead and start with this right here. Oh, no, you already did that one. Yeah. I'm so sorry. Sorry, guys. We did that one in a different session. Okay, go ahead and just read this right here, writing task.
Writing task. There is an ongoing discussion about the new school lunch guidelines. Think about both sides of the discussion. Then write an opinion essay in your own words supporting either side of the discussion. Are the new school lunch guidelines helping students? Be sure to use information from both passages in your opinion essay. Okay, so there's a lot there. This isn't like, do you think we should do this with the lunches or not? Yes or no. There's a lot of information there. So I'm going to pull this up to the screen. So if you want, so there's a lot on here. I'm going to circle what we're talking about here. Actually, highlight. That's way better. That yellow highlighted portion, if you want to freeze things. And don't laugh at my nails. Nail salons are closed, guys. Can't get them done. So that you have that available. Okay, so let's talk about it now. Hadley, it says there's an ongoing discussion about the new school guidelines. Think about both sides of the discussion, then write an opinion essay. Let's underline that. In your own words, supporting either side of the discussion. Are the new lunch guidelines helping students? Be sure to include information from both passages. So, is it persuasive, informative, or narrative? Persuasive.
Persuasive. So I'm just going to write a P for persuasive.
Opinion.
Okay. Yes. How did you know?
Because it says write an opinion essay. Opinions are persuasive.
Good. Now, speaking of that, okay, let's talk about some important words. What do you think is important to pull out of this prompt that we need to make sure? What is it asking us to do?
Use information from both passages.
Okay, so we have to use info from both passages. Okay, what else?
Think about both sides of the discussion.
Okay, so I need to think about both sides. What else?
Use your own words.
Okay, use your own words. What else does it say? What's it asking you to do? Write a what?
Opinion essay.
Okay, remember, what is it asking you to do and how is it asking you to do it? You just answered how. It's asking you to use info from both passages. It's asking you to think about both sides. It's asking you to put the information in your own words. That's how, but the what is an opinion essay. Okay, and what question are you answering? Does it say?
The new school lunch guidelines.
So it's asking you what about it? Or just read that question out loud.
Are the new school lunch guidelines helping students?
Okay. So for your topics, that's the big question. So they've given you, so here's the thing about these prompts. This is why GITA is so important. These prompts, they're just so mumble jumble. They got so much information in there. You gotta think about all that and you gotta include all that, but then you gotta be able to identify the actual question. So the actual question that this prompt is asking you to do, we're gonna highlight is, are the new school lunch guidelines helping students? Yes or no? So Hadley, with that in mind, how would you start the stem for your T, for the topic sentence? How would you start your stem? If you're answering this question.
I think the new school lunch guidelines are not helping students, or if you think yes, then you could say that they are.
Okay, excellent start. So I'm going to comment on two things with what Hadley just said. One is he's exactly right. We can't answer are or are not because we haven't read the passage yet. One thing that Hadley did that lots of kids do, but you guys don't have to do it, is he said, I think that. But guess what? If you didn't think it, you wouldn't write it. So you don't have to say that. Do you like to write more than you have to?
No.
No? Right. So you can leave those words out, okay? You don't have to say I think that. You can just start with the new school lunch guidelines help/don't help students. Okay? Because blank and blank. Okay? So notice what I did there. A lot of times in our topic sentences, if we can think of two ideas to include, sorry, I have all these texts coming through. If we can think of lost my train of thought. If we can think of two ideas to put into the topic sentence, then it just makes the teak easier because then we pick one piece of evidence to support one idea and one piece of evidence to support the other idea. But you don't have to do it that way. That's definitely not a rule. You can just state your topic sentence and then you can pick one piece of evidence and to support it and keep going. So we'll talk about that when we get going. But anyway, so we're going to write down for our T, we're going to write down the new school lunch guidelines help/don't help, because we're not sure yet, students, okay? Now we might go back and say because blank and blank, or we just don't know yet. You got to read it and then we'll decide what we're going to do. Lastly, who's our audience here?
You could say the teacher.
Yeah, why would you say that?
Or you could say the editor, but it's not asking you to write to the editor.
Right.
You could say teacher because you're not writing to one specific person.
Good.
You're just giving your opinion.
And anytime you're not sure, you just say teacher. Because the whole point of knowing your audience is like, should I use formal language? Like, let's say it said that you're writing it to your little sister, Charlotte. Would you write differently?
Yeah.
Yes. Charlotte's 6 years old. So you would use simpler words. You would probably use different language and different dialogue and things like that. So you're writing it for your teacher. You're going to be formal and you're going to use your best vocabulary and your best writing. So that's what that is. Okay. So this session was merely about what to do to GITA the prompt. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload a picture to the site that will have a list of different prompts that you can GITA. But right now, just in case you don't have access to that, I'm going to put a square and a star. Next to this item 13, constructed response. This is not an essay. This is just a prompt for a paragraph. But if you want to practice GITA right now, then you could practice GITA-ing. Yes, I just turned that into a verb. You can practice GITA-ing, that prompt right there, just as some extra practice. Hadley actually did this one yesterday. So you can look at that. Now, I will also, like I said, I will upload all of this stuff so that you have it available, especially in case it doesn't come across the way that it should right there. So before we end today, I'm going to flip my screen real quick. If I can figure out how to do it. Oh, I can't do it when I'm still in video. See, I'm learning things. All right, so we will log back on in a moment and we'll do another session, and that will be on how to start organizing our actual answer to this question. All right, happy GITA-ing. Say bye.
Bye.